The zone wasn't capped. There's no penalty, Sassy.
Aside, and it's just you. Getting that 52 to work and getting a triple.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Splat World Series 26 REWOUND. My name is Rocket. Joining me, Elliot, my co-caster, as we're taking a look at two JP teams. Yet again, another JP matchup, Vacuum World versus Paint Prime. Gonna be your JP matchup here. First, let's introduce Vacuum World. Hitakuchi, Tabaru, Samurai Katsu, Chiaki, and Utan. Gonna be your four here, and taking a look. Again, we always do this in terms of numbers, just taking a look at that XP power. And to us Western viewers, dang, that is really, really good. 3,500 at the very minimum from these players. And taking a look at the weapons that they bring, a lot of familiar weapons to what we've seen in a lot of other Splat World Series matchups with Gal, Zaps, 96s, Samurai Katsu being that E-leader, arguably to some the best E-leader, some the second best, but a dang great player nonetheless. And the elephant in the room, Hitakuchi Tabaru, being 4,100, 14 X power as their max. As a matter of fact, if you to you keen eyes, take a look at their tag and their social media. That is their X power listed there, so massive aura points.
Hitakuchi 4114. Just on a personal note, this is the team that I think was gonna win the whole tournament. I gave them my favorite song when I was editing their trailer. So I think these guys are really dang good. What's not listed here on the screen is Utan also plays the Tri/Renouveau, which is a common choice here because they are absolutely going to keep the 96 gal in, and they're sure not playing clueless either. So it's going to be between the Zap and the Tri/Renouveau for the most part, unless we decide to get quirkier and pick the cooler 96 gal. Spoiler, we won't. Other to note is that Samurai Katsu is often credited as like the pioneer of the E-leader. Has been playing this since Splatoon 1, has been winning with this since Splatoon 1. So, you know, they and Goyame on the Team Rush in this tournament are often neck and neck, or whatever, toe-to-toe, one of the body parts, in being the best E-leader in the world. And they're going to be up against Paint Prime, who also has a roster of stack players. We're talking about XP, and XP as a number that wows you. Yochan Ika with a 48-36 X power, and you know, matching Hitakuchi being from the Blaster class.
Yeah, Blaster's always going to be the dominant weapons in the meta, just constantly being able to just say, hey, I can delete you from this far away, and then cause so much ledge pressure with the amount of specials they bring as well. You have the C Blast and the S Blast listed, of course, both going to be your most played blasters that you expect, as well as being centered around a lot of midlines. We could be seeing Libya with that 96 meeting that Vac. You have Cacao on that Slosher as well. A lot of midline presence and a lot of flexibility what they can bring. Of course, you can have Libya go to that Tri-Slosher for a more close range, and then have Yochan Ika go to the S Blast. There's a lot of flexibility here as well with Paint Prime.
For sure. Though Vacuum is so strong, I feel like Vacuum might have put itself like, it's been on the map, but it like really got solidified and shown as a problem to us here in the West when we were like, wow, Vacuum really whooped us and was present in like every single set. So it would not surprise me to know that Livia is playing the 96 gal, and so is Chiaki, because that gun is just so damn good, and the special it has is just so damn good. So now we're going to move into this strike select segment of the Splat World Series, in which in each set, teams will strike 2 stages off the board. So that leaves a total of 21 stages remaining in play, and that's gonna, once those are removed from the pool, we're gonna roll our first stage randomly.
Yeah, it's gonna be all zones only, so you have Urchin, Humpback, Barnacle, and Eeltail not in possession, and that is Lemuria Hub as your game 1. Sometimes the RNG does not go into your favor. Lemuria as your zone 1 is a rough one, and I've casted a lot of games. I don't think I've seen more than I don't think I've seen 2 Lemuria Hub games. I've maybe seen 1 that I've casted, but never. This would be my second one, I believe. This map isn't played at all.
And for good reason. Like, I'm really, like, one of the people that are like, wow, let's play craft maps because they lend some kind of favor to your team. No, this just sucks.
No.
So we're going into this game 1 here between Vacuum World and Paint Prime, looking at the competitions that they got out here. Looks like Livy's going to go over to the 52 gallons instead of the 96 gallons, which, I mean, no complaints there. Any gallons are good.
Yeah, but with it being a double zone map, again, we could see a very seesaw type of game. Of course, all you need is to contest one of those zones, and it can force your team into a stalemate. Now, the thing with Lemuria Hub is it's a very perilous mid-area. You either choose the pit at the bottom or the moving platform at the top. Not really great options either way you go, but still, they are the necessary evils that you have to choose between. Already, though, that early aggression that Vacuum World had into that zone immediately neutralized with Paint Prime.
And now, you know, it's Paint Prime's turn to up for lockout. And I mean, look at those specials. They're all glowing right now. Got the Trash Tricks online, and the 4th one's online too. All specials online all at once. Coming out with the cooler first, ready for Vacuum World to play right into them. And, you know, they've got weapons or specials to sustain too. Dropping the bubble right under the ledge, making sure that Yocha Nika can ledge with complete safety here. So, you know, the question is, how does Vacuum World push back in? Like, they've got the Vac ready, and looks like they've just gotten to pick onto Livia, so I feel like the answer's been found here. Did he just...
What? Getting a double there is actually insane from Paint Prime. Yes, they did lose the zone, but that will help in the evening numbers department and making this retake a lot easier, especially when you have your blaster going down immediately there to Rubython there on the side of Paint Prime, being able to stabilize some things. What a shot! Exactly my reaction there from the E-leaders. Samurai Kazado showing why they've been the pioneer of this E-leader. Hitting these very filthy shots. A lot of E-leaders scattered across Splat World Series, and Samurai Kazado being one of the leaders in terms of just flashiness.
All right, I mean, now leading the charge is Chiaki with the ink back, escorting Hitokuchi Tabaru in to take these fights, but ends up going down here, leaving Chiaki alone, but doesn't matter, just shoot them. I mean, it's a 2-shot kill, you got a hell of a lot of range, and that's going to give them, you know, the picks required to probably take this lead here, Rocket. You know, it's only 43 to 41, and now the lead goes over to Vacuum World, and so it's up to Paint Prime. What? Hold on, someone's got to notice, right?
Surely not. Both of those players just being right next to each other, but still, neither side really noticing each other, except now with Vacuum World in that the only one remaining, and Paint Prime surely does take that zone, at least giving themselves another second win. Gotta build up those specials, though, if you are facing a team like Vacuum World.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll go in with that Vacuum, but not if that blaster says anything for you. Vacuum World going in really, really quickly. Hitokachi Tabaru being able to just tear through those pieces, and yet again, set back into spawn. Paint Prime yet again on that back foot, pushing into 2 specials.
And pushing into Samurai Kasa. So, I mean, if you're not careful, there's a little red dot on your forehead, and then it's the lights out for you. So, now the question is, how do you get back in? Like, they've got the ink back ready, they got the Hitokuchi Tabaru in your face! I mean, ends up dying to his own big bubbler there, it's leaving just Utan and Casto here to stay in the zone, and now the strikes come out from Paint Prime, and they're going to be able to lock back in here. They got to neutralize one of these zones, though, because 8 points is not a whole lot left, and ends up just being Casto and Sato living this fight. Paint Prime moving in further into the base now.
At the very least surviving, though. Chiaki here trying to take out Livia, just saying, hey, you got nowhere to move. That's just borderline bullying at that rate, but whatever floats your boat. Vacuum World moving in off of that bubble. 4v2, now 4v1 on the side of Vacuum World, who, yet again, have that strong control, have been able to consistently retake with these specials, of course, being headlined by their namesake, the Vacuum.
Alright, and they're close to yet another one. It's like they're... Oh my god. The way they cycle these specials is just ridiculous. Like, it's perfect. Like, they got the cooler just about ready, and it's going to be perfectly in tune with the ink back, which is going to stop them from contesting this zone. So we're going to pop this ink back now, and Hitokuchi Tabaru is probably somewhere nearby, ready to take advantage of it, and there he is, jumps into the ink back, leading those strikes, ends up going down, though, to Yocha Nika, and so looks like it's a 2-down situation onto Vacuum World, and it ends up being Paint Prime who's able to secure the zone here and applies penalty points, saving them from getting knocked out.
Chiaki just staying alive with that vacuum and just swinging and swaying and staying alive on this 96 is just something beautiful to see. And Hidekuchi, every single time we cut to them on camera, they just immediately blow up somebody with a direct. It's like every single time. They're like, oh, camera's on me now? All right. Immediately remove a special off the map, remove the player off the map. 10 seconds left. You don't have any players left on the side of Vacuum World really left to contest, as Casado is that last one taken out. Penalty points now no longer going to be a factor for Paint Prime to hold on. They do have the specials available, including the Big Bubbler and Tri-Strike, to hold firm. Rubyton already on that right side. Chanika just holding on this bottom, daring anybody to approach. Tri-Strike will be the most important batter. Hidekuchi is taking out Keely and Casado as well from that bottom. Hold on, a complete change of fate as that vacuum just falls apart. The retake never even had legs to build up upon, waiting for the moment for it to build, but Paint Prime just caught Vacuum World just too slow to react.
I mean, that's just so hard to watch. Push into, because you're getting watched from anywhere, wherever they're lurking under that ledge. How would you know? And so, Yochanika is just able to take 2 down, and once the supportive core, of everyone behind you is down, then you can no longer pull off that same smuggling playstyle with the ink back and aggressive weapon inside of it. One more, okay, I know they lost the game, but that gameplay out of Itaguchi Tabaru was insane. The guy's name is Take a Bite. I'm thinking maybe he needs to take a bow, because that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but of course the hero for that was Yochan, of course, being able to sneak from under with and pull the rug on the Vacuum World, who I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop of okay, they're gonna retake with a surely, right? And I feel like they took just a moment too long on that retake and gave the window for Yochan to sneak under and get those 2 directs. Of course, luck plus skill will make those opportunities will make plays such as that. So it was a mix of everything there, but that's really what it comes down to at this stage, where these little mistakes lead to opportunities for your opponents. And I mean, you had Paint Prime take it to its full advantage. Now, a little bit of a breath mint, refreshing your taste buds a little bit. We go to Robo, a little bit more of a more standard map in the zone space.
Yep, I think this is a good choice out of them. It's not a particularly a map that plays into your leader favor super badly, but there are some crazy places for E-leaders to take shots. I mean, you and I watched Samurai Kasata do some damage to Koyame's team and Splash Go Red on this stage. There are angles for you to take as a leader, and the pick makes sense. It's also great for the ink back. It's going to be able to escort now Utan on the Tri-Sasha Nouveau, so it's going to have to be 2 people to escort straight forward here into the face of Paint Prime.
Yeah, we see 3 gals on the board as well, both sides utilizing those vacs. So it's going to be a story of who's able to really establish those vacs first, who's able to maintain that control. Vacuum World has that similar opening so far, where they do have that early aggression, and we have both the vacs just poking at each other, no one really dying, of course. Actually, Chiaki is the one to go down that vac user, so momentum immediately switching back into Paint Prime, who will take full advantage of that, zooming into the zone.
Kakao moving up so fast, forcing a jump out from Samurai Kasato, and Yochanika similarly has to back up a little bit, jumps to Rubitan, who, acting as a stable backline here, letting people take these aggressive fights and just dip out immediately with the power of that cooler. So now we're seeing all these specials ramp up, and they've got all of them ready. The vac is going to stop you from moving in, so is the bubble, and the whale is going to definitely dissuade some of your activities. So there's so much pressure coming out from Paint Prime here, and it's just compounding with the 2 down from Kakao leading the charge into Mikasa here. It's looking kind of dire.
Yeah, and near that 40 tick mark as well, LA. Time is running out. No specials to really utilize as well. Chiaki's not even close to a vacuum yet, but the kills may be the reason why. Vacuum World may have some breathing room, except unless you have Rubyton there just holding firm. Still, the Tri-Slash is trying to desperately paint over that zone cooler as well to just see if they can find anything. A little bit of yellow paint and that little bit of stalling out has enabled Vacuum World to at least stay alive, live to fight another day. Hidekushi now trying to look for these final picks, gets one onto Chikaka, excuse me. Can't find it to get one onto that blaster, but regardless, you have that still constant presence of Vacuum World saying, hey, it's never over.
Hey, so this is the first time that they really get set up here. Vacuum World now in a position to lock out, but not for very long as Lemuria escorts everyone in with the power of the Ink back. But met with one from Chiaki too, and they're going to choose to just back off of that Ink back. Recognize that it's not a whole lot they can do. And their back shot just got eaten by the other back, but it doesn't matter. You just play the main weapon. There's so much going on. Fast to just dome Livia as they try to move up here, and it's still Vacuum World in control of the zone. But they don't have the members alive to paint it, and it's going to allow Yochanika to walk right up and apply some pressure to Casto. Turns around, whips a 180 onto Utan, and now it's Paint Prime back in the driver's seat doing the lockout as they have been.
Yeah, and again, that presence that constantly that's being built by Paint Prime, it's still being able to stall under these ledges. Of course, blasters, ledges, peanut butter, jelly, whatever you want, combination you want to build it. Paint Prime is taking full advantage of it and putting Vacuum World in a very tough spot where they can't afford to make any more mistakes at this rate. One mistake is a game over from them. Penalty points continue to go down. You have the Vacuum already up on the side of Paint Prime. Desperation now as Hitakuchi just tries to dive forward to that zone. They're just a blaster though. Here comes the Vacuum shot to maybe stall things out and buy some time for Vacuum World to maybe find something, but the final ticks go down and Paint Prime take another one, making it a 2-0 in favor, and Vacuum World now have lost that set, but still an opportunity to make and get one back, as of course we're in Swiss.
One more game to go here, and like you said, there is still room for Vacuum World to make this worth their while. They can pick up that third game away from Paint Prime. That's going to give them a better seed in the second day of this tournament. So, you know, the question is, where does your final counter pick go? And I mean, let's find out. We got to do some stage strikes first coming out from Paint Prime. And, you know, it's going to be, I don't know, you're fighting a leader team, you'll have a leader yourself. Ruby Diamond can play the leader, but I don't think they're going to go to leader. So you're going to get rid of what works really well for my goat Kasto, and it's going to start with Minsby, and, you know, Marlon makes sense too, much to Popkins to say.
Yeah, and we saw how, like, not only, of course, you can just look at it in simple terms of, like, Vacuum World. Look at these players versus Paint Prime. Still great players regardless, but many perceived that that you would have the more dominant victory coming out from Vacuum World, but quite the opposite, actually, as Paint Prime have been able to control and being able to neutralize the strengths that what Vacuum World is bringing out. Now, of course, that game one may have thrown things out of disarray being on Lemuria Hub, but that game two was a much more convincing one where Paint Prime was just simply able to control their vacuums a lot better. And now moving to this game three, Hagglefish, a very standard map, at least in the Western scene, we will see yet again if at least Vacuum World can get one back.
Right, it almost didn't occur to me that they lost on their own counter pick, and a good one at that. Like I feel like Robo was a solid choice for them. Yeah, Paint Prime managed to come out on top, and I feel like it might be to the credit of the 52 gal, because you can't contest the back with anything on Vacuum World. You just have to let it happen, or back off it, or back it yourself. And backing yourself doesn't do a whole lot besides just neutralize it. You can't like punish it in any way. Whereas the 52 gal's Killer Whale can just do just that.
You already have the early aggression from both sides, just seeing if they can find anything early off. Vacuum World with a very strong opening with 40 points already to their name. Eventually, though, this push is starting to die out a little bit. Chiaki using that vac to save that jump. Very nicely done to secure and maintain the presence that they have. And look at the results of it. By using that vac to save their teammates, they are able to rally and continue this Vacuum World hold out. Livia, being that last player standing, almost is able to find another off of that, but not able to dodge out of danger in time.
Getting punished there, so I think Livia being the last one alive means that they're gonna have to back up and reset it here a little bit. And you know, their game, oh my god, their game plan at this point is tried and true. Similar to the Vacuum World, they're just gonna build up that thing and let that 52 gallons go right up into it. But it looks like the gal goes down first and leaving Livia alive with the back and no teammates that can walk through it. Looks like they're gonna have to wait for Kakao to get on that 52 gal once again to get this lockout broken here.
But does anybody see Utan? It doesn't really matter though if all the ink goes into the vacuum, unfortunately, for that flank, and that might have cost them dearly, as that is a wipeout in the favor of Paint Prime. What might have been the opportunity for Vacuum World to secure it out now gives Paint Prime a little bit of life within this match, and anything can happen within these 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a lot of time But as soon as quickly as they lost that zone, Vacuum were looking right back again to try to knock on that doorstep. And in basically 10 seconds, right back in business, right back into that zone area where Paint Prime not being able to put up much resistance as Chiaki, yet again, with that vacuum, is the go-ahead signal for Vacuum World to move in with.
Well, that's the name of the team and no name of the plan,
Yeah.
so it works out pretty damn good. Utan managed to close out the kill on the blaster in the bottom right. And now, once again, it's their turn to set this lockout. And they're pretty close to knocking this out, by the way. And talk about lockout and rather knockout. There's only 25 ticks remaining, and they have the resources to deal with it. Pop down the big bubbler, contesting this vacuum. But Chiaki's forced to drop off the left side, so surely Livia can put this back onto the zone and cap it. And that they do. They apply those penalty points to save themselves from losing this third game.
Chiaki was definitely looking for an angle to try to see if they can take out that vacuum, and it almost worked, but they were forced towards that right side, again, giving Paint Prime another opportunity to have some more life. Casado trying to look for that equalizing pick to see if they can continue that momentum for Vacuum World, but still, slowly but surely, Vacuum World is losing that lead, although it being chip by chip. Paint Prime refusing to go away. Despite them already winning the set, they want to go for that full sweep. Vacuum available now for Paint Prime yet again for them to utilize and move in with. Here is Libya with that vacuum now being able to lead that charge forward. Just left to this flanking blaster, unable to really find much besides that equalizing pick. Kitakuchi, though, could be the one to distract with that bubble, just trying to dare anybody of Paint Prime to pay attention to them.
I mean, not paying enough attention. How they lived that? Rubiton barely getting away from Itakochi there. That could have been utterly disastrous. But off screen here, Yosha Nika and Kakao have been way up in the base of that world and caused some damage. And, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but Paint Prime's all the way through the penalty. So this is probably the final push coming out from Vacuum World here. They have to make a play off this back and win. Get the zone at least if they want to stay alive in this game. But they don't cap. Hold on, if they don't look at the zone. Okay, we apply these penalty points, so we haven't lost the lead to Paint Prime here, but that looks real dicey.
Really dicey has been the name of the game here for both sides in different factors. That's been the main factor for Vacuum World, who just seen their lead slowly chipped away. Remember, they basically were at the same point total, but Paint Prime was all the way in their 80 point totals. Now all the way down to 14, and still, yes, a sizable penalty points to really go through, but momentum on their side, still a lot of paint control in this mid area, looking very dangerous for Vacuum World to potentially lose this one, especially if you have players just hitting that onto Itaguchi. Rubiton holding into that zone area, almost to a cooler. Very imperative that they get that cooler to stabilize things within this match, as any picks onto Paint Prime can prove to be the final nail in the coffin for them in this match. Vacuum World utilizing that vacuum to stay alive on that left side, but 3 go down to the zone. That zone and that lead immediately flipped in Paint Prime as the last-ditch effort from Vacuum World was not enough to secure that zone. Chiaki stayed back on that left side. The 3 players moving in from Vacuum World got mowed down, and Paint Prime putting themselves on the map, a 3-0 sweep over our 2-seed Vacuum World.
Right, and this is the team that I, as the TO on the Western side, had slated to win the tournament. So imagine how I feel watching them go down to a team that, mind you, finished this roster in the hours before the tournament. Like, they put this team together, like, as we started, pretty much. So, you know, an incredible performance, really, from Paint Prime, and it just seems that they found the answer to Vacuum World in specific. Like, this team, Paint Prime, had issues into other teams, even into Western teams. Like, I believe that there were one of the only ones to drop sets to us. Shocking. So, I don't know. I feel it's like the key here is just how do you deal with the vac? And many people don't have the answer. It's like, I want to put an aggro in the vac and just fight it head on. Doesn't work unless you're streamer sent of the roller. And so the answer was found here in the Killer Whale, in the 52 gal. And so it just worked out so well for them.
And sometimes it takes your own to really know the weaknesses. And Paint Prime really found the Achilles heel, and you can maybe think of it as like, well, game 1 didn't really count as Lemuria. It was a very nice play at the very end that really caused things. But game 2 and game 3, those were very good maps. General consensus, all things considered. Robo, ROM-en, the counter pick. And again, another counter pick, Hagglefish Market. Both of these counter picks, Vacuum World chose. And still, Paint Prime came into their home and was able to win in a very convincing fashion as well in that game 2, and in game 3, an impressive come from behind. So there's nothing fake about that at all, I think.
No, absolutely not. It's a little bit ironic that Vacuum World is the one that doesn't have the answer to Vacuum. They just couldn't deal with it. In this team and in Rush, who later defeated them and won the tournament in grand finals. They just they couldn't do it. So that's all for us on Splat World Series Rewound for this episode from Vacuum World and Paint Prime. There's more videos like this one to come. If you enjoyed this and other things from Splat World Series, look out for them on the IPL Splatoon, YouTube, and such. I've been Ellie, director at Splat World Series. This has been Rocket. Thanks for watching. I didn't have it ready to go. All right, goodbye.
Post production.